now.
When you want to get off the darkest
Assets.
but gravity pulls you straight down. Earth from a bird's eye view.
Wasn't that a 80s?
You should grow feathers and see this too.
Ass hats?
When you want to get
no,
off
that is
the
mental.
darkest ground, but gravity pulls you straight down. When you want to get off the darkest ground, gravity pulls you straight down. Clear
We're back.
That's ain't creepy, guys. It's Halloween. I mean, we got to give them nightmares. It's not like that our, movie choices.
Well,
that itself.
Yeah.
our content generally gives them nightmares anyway.
Yeah,
so.
exactly.
And I know what's
Alrighty.
on the wheel. 'Cause
Yes.
the guy submitted everything on there.
Probably. Alrighty, well, hello
Don't
everybody,
apologize.
and welcome back to yet another lovely movie night. We are here to torture you, and we don't apologize for it. So we'll go ahead.
job.
Exactly. We'll go ahead and introduce our panel here. We'll start out with RJ.
Let me put on my little camera there to show that I am not a simulation. And I got books! A lot of books!
You do have a lot of books, but I'm still not
And we're-
convinced.
Busy working on the Rocks for Their Volume 2, which is going to be just as big as Volume 1. And then
Of
up there is
course.
the corner are the paralogs. For all of you who want your little holiday gift giving there, where you can buy a fun read and help the old RJ on the royalties front, you can get those now.
Awesome. Glad to hear it, RJ, and nice to have you here with us.
Hopefully the connection will hold.
I hope so. Otherwise, we get robot RJ, which really doesn't help your, trying to convince
not
us that you're
robot
not a
ever.
simulation. We also have Chris Kelling with us this evening.
Remember to unmute my mic here. Well, good evening. Coming from an undisclosed location in Connecticut. Oh, jeez, I just doxed myself.
There you go.
Yeah, right. Anyway, just had to kick on the furnace. Not really looking forward to paying the gas bill this month. But,
Yeah,
oh well.
it's starting to get a little chilly. It's, I think, down to like 39 tonight here, so we've got the heater going. Well, hopefully you stay
That's
nice
about
and
all I have tonight. So.
well, hopefully you stay nice and warm, and we're glad to have you with us, Chris. And we also have Bionic Dance.
Hi everybody. Just things have been happening.
Ooh,
Mostly
stuff and
boring.
things.
I know,
That's
right?
good when you got
No,
both.
seriously, like there hasn't been a lot going on. I've been working
Yeah.
really hard on my animation. That's it, and probably gonna finish it before the end of the year. So surf to my channel, look for Quinn Redshift.
Awesome.
It'll be there.
Super excited to see that finally. It's been teased quite a bit.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely looking forward to that. I noticed you were a little quieter on Twitter this week, so I was
Yeah, that's partly because I've been working so hard on it,
Yeah.
but partly because my parents are in town.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Well, we are so glad to have you here with us this evening as well. And we also have our lovely Francesca with us. I like Francesca.
Yeah. Hi. I'm half here, I think. I don't know. Are we sure if anyone is ever really here?
No.
Not entirely fresh, Francesca.
No, I am tired. I'm recovering from a sinus infection, which
Oh, no.
which is really always fun to have, especially
Mhm.
after the past couple weeks I've had have just been kind of rough. So things are
Yeah.
kind of starting to go back on track for me. So
Well-
I just spent the entire day watching some people play Stanley Parable for the first time.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, I question my existence and reality versus sanity and
Yeah,
everything else. So.
exactly.
So
Well-
yeah, it's been a crazy couple weeks for me, but I'm starting to get back to at least some semblance of normalcy, I guess. So there's that.
Well, that's good, and I'm glad that you're here with us, and hopefully things start to get a little bit more back to normal for you. And with that, that is the entirety of our panel for this evening. Let's see. Okay. Alrighty, so we're going to pull up our wheel.
The wheel.
If I can find it
All right.
here. There we go. Wheel.
Nobody say spin it, and therefore it won't spin.
Yeah, I don't think that's quite how that works. I still have to torture
Spinach.
you all. Ooh, spinach. Ooh, is it
The
like
spinach
cream
wheel.
spinach?
The wheel of vegetables.
All right. Well, you know what? Since we don't have a tornado, we're just going to say spin it and spin the
Yeah.
wheel.
Bum, 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 ba-da, ba-da, bum, 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 ba-da, da, 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 da.
Ooh yeah,
Tick, tick, tick,
tailspin.
tick, 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 tick,
Oh
tick,
yeah,
tick, 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 tick,
tailspin.
Stars.
Alright,
Ooh.
which one was this one? Because I'm pretty
Stars
sure
fell on
everyone-
Alabama and burned it all up.
Yeah. Well, we'll see here.
I
Bear
don't
with
know
me
if this
just
was
a
one
sec.
that I did or not.
I think they all are, so.
Okay, they might be. I don't remember that one. I submitted.
It's going to have a
They
lot of
were-
science in it, though, doesn't it?
I think I know which one this one is. And
Mm.
again, I do not apologize because I am pretty sure if this one I'm thinking is, I think it's Gina Marie Cloven Hill. You're welcome.
Yeah, we don't ever apologize.
Crystal might actually be mine.
It may be.
Oh.
I think you're right, because that was on there from last week.
week. I was like, I don't
RJ,
remember a crystal one.
RJ, I think it's going to have about as much science as Star Wars.
Yeah.
Well, that would be something for them to strive for, frankly, what we usually get on here.
Oh, gosh.
I'm talking about the Strategic Defense Initiative, not the movie.
Oh, that one. Oh, okay. There we go. How about the Star Force?
Oh,
Space
goodness.
Force.
Actually, I was very much a fan of
Alright.
SDI when I was a younger lad.
Excuse me.
It seemed plausible at
Recognizing
the
what
time.
it was intended for, essentially, kind of bankrupting the
Ooh.
Soviet Union. So
This is a shape-shifting life form.
Yes,
Ah, this looks
obviously.
really, really.
Legitimately, all of these, I pretty much went off of the title.
Why does
So-
it look like a sound wave that's farting fire?
Right.
Well, we've got an insane light bulb in the middle, and then we have a bunch of little squiggly amoebas hovering around the edge, and they're all singing little happy songs.
Pretty much, something like that.
Oh, good. Okay,
mean-
well, then I'm looking forward to it.
I mean, that's probably more sciencey than what's actually in the video, knowing who did it.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, I think we should get started. So
Yeah, we'll
let's.
jump in and get to that science.
All right.
How long is this extraordinary feature, by the way?
Hello, everyone. Hello,
Uh,
wherever you are, in any part of the world. Hello from
Uh-oh.
my heart to
It
yours.
is her.
What we're looking
Yeah.
at
yes,
is
8
what
and
I
a half
shared
minutes.
today in a live video
Oh, dear.
on all 3 social media sites of the star that changes colors. And you can see that it doesn't look like a normal star at all. The outline of it, some say this was a planet. I don't know about
Or a
that.
lens flare.
It maybe you call it a planet, but it doesn't look like one to me. It looks like a new life form. Okay.
Drink.
That's millions of miles
Wow.
across.
Oh dear. Yes.
Ugh.
How do you want to unpack that?
Boy, where do I begin? First off, argument from incredulity. Well, I don't see it, so therefore it's not that.
Mhm.
Well, yeah, sorry, you're wrong on that. 2, how is that a freaking life form?
Well,
3,
it sort of
just-
a little looks amoeba-ish.
Yeah.
Because
I
it's so
thought
freaking
that in
big.
my
Space
delusional state earlier.
And then 3, can we just do a not even wrong for that whole segment? Because that pretty
Yeah.
much sums it up, and I have a feeling it's going to sum up this whole
Well,
video.
that covers all of her videos.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I
Isn't
was
that
like,
the truth?
doesn't that
default.
just cover the rest of it? Because it's like it's not even close. I was like, I got nothing for
Right.
this. It is just that.
I want to
wrong.
know what the big light next to it, because it is she like drawing pictures and she's looking at one picture in a series so that the big light is actually a different image, or is all of this supposed to be taking place in one area?
See, wait,
She isn't very clear on that, is she?
No.
she hasn't gotten to it yet, but I mean, it looks like a space sperm going for a space egg.
Ah,
I keep
yes.
hoping
Okay.
that's like the logo from the video, and it's a still frame of like someone's name unfolding from those gold foil looking little squiggles there. That's what I'm hoping that is.
Right.
you just keep open.
Oh
I will
dear.
hold your breath.
Yeah. Oh boy. Well, I'm sure she's going to get to the science of it here real soon.
Absolutely. I
Are we
feel
allowed
it.
to
I
call-
feel it.
Yeah.
Okay, am I allowed to call drink on that one? Because yeah, that's just,
Nope. No drink calls on the
Okay.
host. That's it.
I'm just
Okay.
curious to see how much she can milk this for 8 bloody minutes.
I know, right? Well, let's see what else she's got here. Here we go.
This right here is the same thing as this. This right here shape shifts, and it also
It's the
this
same,
right here
except it looks
like
different.
this, which down here in the corner was a picture that I took on my way home from work around
My
1:38
couch
in the
and my
morning.
car are the same, but
In
look
Jeffersonville,
different too.
Indiana. I rolled down my window. I took my picture, and you can see that it is looks like a life
Thing.
form. It is a life
drink.
form. It is in
Yes.
I'm sorry, this is gonna be all.
Yeah.
Bad week. I'm gonna be nitpicky, and I'm gonna just call drink on every, pretty much, probably almost every dumb thing, so we can all get drunk together. Although I'm gonna
Right.
be sober, which is the sad part.
Okay,
You're,
so
you're
you're-
subbing for Tornado.
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say.
I'm actually drinking Mountain Dew, so
There
don't
you go.
figure. So I'm channeling my
Yeah,
inner
you're
tornado.
in the groove there.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and I'm also playing video games while we do this. So yeah,
Well, that's
very much
getting some
so.
good usage out of it.
Um,
I think we're all going to want to speculate what the hell she's taking a picture of that
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
generating this weird thing. Is she like focusing up at a passing plane? Is it actually a celestial object? Is it like a street lamp in a distant neighborhood? I mean, we don't exactly get any or worse, is she taking pictures off of her computer screen?
Yeah.
I mean, pretty much my drink call is when you're using your camera, not anything that's actually rated to take those photos, such as
Do we even know if it's a T900 or an Instamatic?
yeah. I mean, no, it's. I mean, knowing her and how kooky she is, she probably believes it has to be the Nikon P900 or whatever the hell.
Yeah.
Whatever the magical camera is. But
Only
yeah,
the
just
one that takes true pictures of space things.
yeah, that one. So, drink for not using the right camera, and drink for just literally just using the wrong equipment, because it looks like it's taken off of her camera phone. She just took it off of that, probably never focused. So it's probably just camera artifacts, photo artifacts, whatever they're called. my brain's not working completely, but yeah, pretty much that.
Yeah, something like that. Well, let's
I want to know what it is on the far right that looks like a kind of spaceship spermatozoa gray squiggle.
it looks like something that like would come out of a picture of like a dragon, like something, breathing fire type of thing. I feel like it's something out of that, but
Well,
let's
knowing her, it could be both.
yeah.
I don't know. My first
I
thought
was
was
thinking
like,
it just looked like a
early
headlight.
80s Star Wars wannabe, probably Roger Corman directed sci-fi ship.
Oh, and I call attention to the clear letters that are coming off of the yellow light bulb. VWW. It's a Volkswagen ad.
Oh, that's it. Now we're all doomed.
There we go. It's the last attempt to sell their clean diesel.
Yeah, exactly. Oh dear. Well, let's see, because I'm sure she's going to tell us exactly what it is, or
Yeah, well, she's got 8 minutes to clarify all of this.
I know.
She's done that before. Remember how once she gets a picture up her ass, it never varies.
Yes. All right. Well, let's continue on.
New life form, one that we're not aware of, but I'm sure it's been around for probably thousands of years.
Zillion years.
And they have the ability to shapeshift. You may say, there's no way this right here was that. Yes, it is. It just so happened to be. And you may say, well, what's that? Well, this is the shape they turned into. They appeared in the
Sure.
mirror, in the
What?
camera. Just a round circle, right round circle with 3 dots, 3 circular dots. And it just so happened
And then it
to show up
auto-focused on the
in
light
one of my
bulb and it
pictures,
turned into
just
that.
like that.
Right.
No other picture. And so I believe that this right here, what we're looking at, and this, is related to this down here in the corner. I believe they are all the same species. I believe that they can take on different forms. Whatever form they want, they can take on that form.
Oh my God.
And with that being said,
Even cucumbers?
Maybe sea
Sorry.
cucumbers.
You've gone off the deep end.
Oh, God, you said you needed fodder for the wheel, so I went to a reliable source and I just picked the first one that had a
There's
crazy
fodder
title.
and there's
Yeah.
manure.
Exactly.
I don't know, but at least something can grow from manure.
Yeah,
That's true. Nothing ever grows out of her videos. But you have to give her props for sheer audacity in taking effectively a single image and then just rhapsodizing pointlessly on it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I have to say, the world just sounds so much more interesting. Like if you lived in the one they describe.
Yeah.
oh
You
yeah,
know?
That'll be-
It sounds
Giant
so much
dimensional
so really
shape-shifting space
exciting.
aliens are appearing all over the place
Yeah.
and not noticed by anybody else with cameras.
Exactly.
yeah. I'm gonna run a science experiment here where we're gonna test out her I believe therefore it is type idea. We're gonna test it here. I believe I have a Charizard right here in my living room. Crap,
Yeah.
didn't work. I mean,
Something like that.
But are you sure there isn't one? Maybe it has its cloaking device on, huh?
as a 90s child, grew up playing Pokemon, huge Pokemon nerd still to this day. Charizards do not have cloaking devices.
Well, that you know of, but
Right.
clearly it's perfectly possible for them to have developed this or to have bought a cloaking device from Amazon when, the summer clearances and the holiday clearances, your Klingons and your Romulans need to unload stuff because they're trying to save up to get the spore drives. So, it's going to be perfectly reasonable for a space being to get one, doesn't it?
What? The what drives?
The spore drive. Don't you watch Discovery?
Come on now.
Okay,
No.
I'm gonna say, I think me and RJ just need to go back and forth on this type of fun stuff because I think that would have more science and education
Right.
than this video here.
Alas, yes. The spore drive
Well,
makes more
Discovery
science
Channel?
sense.
Let's remember that cloaking devices are only to be sold to pink unicorns.
Of course.
No,
I mean, that makes
No.
sense.
Oh, so you're going to be finicky and read the fine print,
Alicorn.
You little scrupulous.
okay. Bionic Dance, there is an exception clause. They can be sold to penguins, but only the ones guarding the ice wall.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because they've got special props on there. They have
Yeah.
that little magic license
Right.
that's put up. And know those
Yeah,
magic
but
licenses.
don't they have
like,
lightsabers
Doctor
already?
Who has one.
But they have to have the cloaking devices so that way they can't be seen by passing by ships.
Of course.
You know, you can't have that be seen. You know.
Yeah,
And they
absolutely.
tried to make the
See,
cloaking
I
device
mean-
more like a boa, but somebody stole that.
See, the pink unicorns aren't invisible without the cloaking device. That's the whole point
Mhm.
to the chapter.
Okay.
Yeah. And at this point, we are making more sense than she does in her videos.
Oh yeah,
And we're all
absolutely.
speaking nonsense.
Oh dear. Well,
Isn't that sad, audience?
well,
That's the
yes,
truth?
but
But then again, RJ, look at who it is.
Yeah.
Indeed. Do we know how many people typically watch her little shows during a week?
Too many.
She spews these things out constantly, doesn't she?
yeah,
and
it's
I don't
usually a
think
lot.
peop- Yeah, and I don't
Like,
think
how many people
watch
watch
it
her
unironically.
videos unironically?
That's true. Yeah, but
Yeah.
that's what I'd like to know. They should have a special marketing thing, is like, where you can say unlike, watching this only because I think it's incredibly stupid. I think we need a few more
Right.
measurements.
Yeah. I mean, I only gave her the one view. Like, I don't watch her stuff. I only go on her channel and pull the craziest names. I don't even think I watched it. I think I just copied the link from the video. I just right-clicked on it. So I don't even think I played
Does
it.
she
I just
disable
recognized-
comments, or does she allow that, or what?
I don't know.
I think
don't-
she does. Last time I
Yeah.
checked.
I generally tend to try and avoid her channel as much as possible. Unless we need wheel fodder, then it's like, okay, generally anything you pull from here is going to be good.
Right.
Oh, that's a short video. We're going with it.
Oh dear. Well, what do you guys
Okay,
think? I
well,
think
we'll
we should
get down-
probably continue on.
Yeah, I'm looking for those notes.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's see if we get there.
I'm going to show you the video in real
There's a
time,
video.
and then I'm going to slow
Ooh.
it down, and you tell me what you think. Okay, and please give this
We
video a thumbs
will.
up, because other people need to see what's going on in our skies above. This is a new life form that we don't know about. There's some who do know about it, but this life form
a
has the ability to
flurb-nubble.
shapeshift into anything at once, and you can see it has all
Except
different types of
doorknobs.
life. It can change its light to any type of color. Okay, any type of color.
Yeah, you've said that. Okay, good. Okay, so there's a light, and there's a light.
All right, I got a call drink.
Okay.
So I'm looking at this image. The wavy lines in the back is literally because her phone was trying to take a longer exposure because it's dark and there was camera movement.
Yeah.
Kind of what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
It's
pretty much
literally
as I
just
said
those three
on the
little
back.
dots making waves because she was moving her camera while her phone was trying to take long exposure.
Now, is it
No, that's a
possible
new
that
life
she's
form.
blind as a bat, doesn't wear glasses, and just points at lights and things, and then looks
Right.
at it on her screen close up and expands it outwards, and that's why she sees what she does?
Yeah,
I got a better explanation, RJ.
hmm
She's a complete nutcase.
Yes.
That's also a workable hypothesis. Yes.
Well, I think
Is she a student of Alvarez, though?
I don't know, but she's an idiot.
Yeah.
Well, she's giving idiots a bad
Not
name. I
Alvarez.
mean,
Yeah.
I want an idiot to have a certain panache,
Right.
a certain dignity, a certain carefulness, and
Yeah.
some cute graphics.
Claudia.
Put up pictures of like demonic space demons or stuff spewing fire or something that's really neat. I've encountered creationists and others, that go to great effort putting their junk together, and you got to give them props for that. But she's just lazy.
Yeah, which is why she's such great, channel fodder.
Well, we also have to say thank you to our very own Chris Kelling for the super chat. Thank you, Chris. Chris says, she's not a pink unicorn. She's an alicorn who used to be a Pegasus. I mean, she's something. I'm not sure really what, but she is something.
I wasn't talking about Gina. I was,
Okay.
Okay.
But
Bionic
can
Dex just
she
kept on
shape
saying,
shift into a wyvern?
yeah, well, no. Bionic Dance just kept on saying pink unicorn. I was just trying to make a joke on the My Little Pony stuff.
Yes.
And for the
I would-
audience, we should wonder: the new life form alien shapeshift into a clam?
Oh, probably.
And Chris,
I was thinking that. Yeah.
I'm glad you clarified that, because I was about ready to demand an apology from you for the fictional characters you just slandered.
Right.
I didn't slander anybody.
That's why I said I'm glad you explained, because of the timing on it. I would have
Right.
just went with that. You were slandering them by making the comparison.
Yes. I see. Oh
I think
dear.
we're doing a good job of
Luna's
delaying.
best princess.
Yeah, absolutely.
She is. Twilight is best princess. I agree.
Alrighty, well, let us continue on now that I've caught on to her BS. It took me a little while tonight. Maybe I'm just tireder? Wow. Yes, maybe I'm more tired than
more
usual. Oh,
Well, I mean,
dear.
in your defense, we didn't have the actual source video where that clip was
Right.
clip was taken from, so we could have just only speculate on what
Exactly.
it could be. Which, again, I think and you guys kind of agree that was probably just camera artifacts, which is exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Could you imagine
so
the sheer pleasure of having her appear to do a TED Talk on the alien organisms and the reaction of the audience?
God. Please,
go,
no.
Is this April 1st?
That's the only time she should ever do that.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so
oh dear.
And so it starts here. Michael Gallagher comes in with Invasion of the Clam Snatchers.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Thank you. At least we have some people who know how to riff off of a straight line.
Oh boy. Well, let's continue on and see what else she'll get to here.
Yeah, I bet she shows more of the same.
Yeah, I think she will.
I won't take that bet because I ain't a sucker.
All right, here we go.
This is in the southeastern sky.
It's in the east.
And Juliet is the west.
Yes. Hey, don't go Bardish on us.
Through yonder window breaks.
Yeah.
But a rose by any name is just as sweet.
Yeah, Juliet is the moon.
And just
She's a
as crazy.
shapeshifter.
No, the moon is a girl from, I believe, a northern water tribe who ended up going back to the moon as a spirit.
And
Get
when
your
the moon
lore
hits your
right.
eye like a big pizza pie, that's a moray. Like a moray, a eel, you know. So clearly we have shape-shifting organisms
Sorry
all
about
through the
that.
song repertoire.
So her thing is she focused in on some light, which, since it's a camera, my guess is it's possibly a moon. Or and that looks like that's a reflection in the camera lens, which gives you that weird look and that weird, flickering motion. Yeah, so I'm just gonna go with
autofocus.
yeah, pretty much exactly what it is. So
Yeah.
just
And you notice that she just shows you this and shows you it and
Yes.
shows you it.
yeah.
And,
I think
after that she's going to show it to us.
Just need some theremin music in the background.
Yeah. I hate that noise.
No, we don't need the thermal music. We need psychedelic LSD music.
Right.
That's what we need for this.
What, like sitars?
Yes.
Oh, more like Pink Floyd, maybe?
Oh,
Adam
gosh.
Hartmother?
Oh dear. Yeah, I wish she would just understand the equipment she was using.
Oh,
Although I have
that's
to
a
say, it
long
would be
list of
nice to
things.
have a camera on a phone that takes a good picture of a night sky. It
Yeah.
would be nice.
I want to know how people who believed in ridiculous aliens did it in the good old days before people had phones that they could carry around
Right.
with cameras inside.
I don't even know. Like, why does she not realize that this is literally not a life form?
And you know how much harder it was in the old days when, in order to believe in the sky things, you had to do like an oil painting or a picture.
Right.
That's much more laborious.
Exactly.
Make it out of mashed
Oh, that-
potatoes.
That's true. That's
Well-
true. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's about as much evidence as I believe the guy's name is Lester from Scooby-Doo and the Alien Invaders of his UFO photos. He has pictures which are just paintings.
You know what I'd like to know?
Ruh-roh.
When were mashed potatoes invented?
Well, first
When
you
you
had
do
to
the
have
twist.
potatoes.
Yeah, true.
And therefore you had to either be someone in the Americas or later on come in and take all that stuff and make stuff out of it.
Interesting.
I don't know whether or not the Native Americans made use of just simply slicing them up as tubers. I don't know if they did the actual mashed potato thing. There, I'm terribly sorry. We're veering on the edge of actual thought here.
I know,
I'm terribly
right?
sorry.
Okay, I have a question. Is it just her playing this video, or is there actually, like, does she say anything else, or is it just this for the rest of the video? Like I said,
I have no idea.
I didn't watch it. I just read the title.
I wouldn't
and
be
ran
surprised
with
if it is this long stretch of her
Yeah.
showing this and
Yeah.
expecting people to be as utterly jaw-dropped amazed as her. She's just awestruck at the shape-shifting lights that
Yeah.
she see.
Well, I mean, what is she expecting this life form to be eating out there? I mean, if it's an amoeba-looking single-celled organism thing that large up in the sky, it's going around eating planets.
Right.
Well, either
Oh.
that or do you ever think about where the pixels go on your screen after you turn it off? See, they have to go
No.
somewhere. And
No,
this is
but I wonder
lighter
where
than
my
air. They
socks
fly
go
up,
in the
they
dryer.
flow up outer into outer space.
Oh my
And the
gosh.
space whales that swim by produce eddies in them, and they get
Are
troughed
we
into
getting into
little
Douglas Adams
interstices in time space, and that's where they go along and feed.
Oh, that's what that squiggle
man,
was on her
it's-
previous picture. It was from a sperm whale.
Yeah.
You
Sperm
guys
space whale.
You guys are all wrong. I cannot believe you. Don't you read up on your woo? It's a breatharian.
Ah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, maybe we could get Matt Powell to be sent to space to investigate.
Yeah, exactly. Let's send him up there.
Well, I mean, I didn't see it on the wheel. I don't know if I submitted it too late, but I did submit a Matt Powell video for our
Oh,
Enjoyment?
my gosh.
like first 3 seconds. I was like, yeah,
Matt Powell
the drink call there.
differs from this woman because she is just simply an idiot, whereas that guy is a bigoted prick.
Yes.
Yeah. So I watched 3 seconds of the Matt Powell video. I was like,
Yep,
yeah,
that was
this is
it.
perfect.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was literally the rest of the video was just that stupid video of hers.
All right. Well,
Well, it provided a nice background for our conversation.
Right?
Yeah.
Exactly. Oh dear.
See,
Well,
we can extract potentially interesting things out of even the most pathetic drag.
Yeah.
And this is
Yeah.
pretty pathetic.
Jeez, I
It
was
is.
listening to Squirrel Nut Zippers the other day, and they're playing My Drag.
oh gosh. All right. Let's see. Get that closed. Let's delete that video. We don't want to redo
So we're not
that.
going to see her through all the way to the end of this monstrosity. Good.
That was the end. Yeah. But
That was-
Oh, wow, boy,
I
that
think-
just spun by.
wait.
Yeah.
Wait. Hold on. We need to make a we need to take a moment to appreciate this. We went through an 8-minute video in record time.
that's true.
I think that's the first. I think that's the
I think
quickest we've ever
I
had a
think she's
video go
provoking
through.
time dilation or something in us.
Yeah.
This is weird.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Oh dear. All right. Well, let's see. I deleted that video so we don't ever have to watch that
Yay,
again.
we never want to see that again. Yay.
All
Next time
right.
we have
Why
real-
is Tornado never
real-
here when we have the good people on?
Right.
Chris, what are you smoking and where can I get some? Because if you can call this good people,
yeah.
knowing what I
Well,
submitted.
Gina is one of the ones that he can't stand.
Hmm.
And
Oh,
for good
okay.
reason.
Yeah.
I had one. I can't remember. It was one of the ones that he did. Oh, it was Cece from Westchester County.
Yeah.
You know, a couple
Cece from
weeks
New
ago.
York.
Yeah.
Hmm. Oh, geez. All right. Well,
I forgot about him. I forgot he existed.
Ooh, now we've got 5 pretty colors. A
Yes.
pendulum. Ooh.
All right. Well, what do you guys think? Should we spin the wheel again?
Yes.
No.
Spin the wheel.
No.
Spin, spin, spin. Do 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 do. We've got steampunk.
Ooh.
This one.
My novels are sort of steampunk, so
And-
we'll find out whether or not this has any connection whatsoever
This-
to anything like that.
Basically, this one, I know which one this one is. I was hoping you were going to be here for it, RJ, because I know you like steampunk. This guy, from the video title at least, tries to claim that steampunk was an actual thing and not some sci-fi idea.
It's right up my alley there.
Yeah,
A dark
that's-
alley.
Well, I was hoping you were going to be here because I knew you would have a lot of fun with it.
Indeed.
All right. Well, we have our lovely video up here, so I mean, we should probably just jump right in. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
Sure,
So this
and I'm
guy thinks
gonna
Infernal Machines was like a documentary.
Yeah, something
Maybe,
like that.
I don't know, but this is also a guy who claims that sloth, pandas, gorillas, penguins, like all these things are fake animals and don't actually exist.
Oh boy.
Right,
He's
of
one of-
course.
If you guys are familiar with
Whee!
Hans Wormhat,
Yes.
that name, this is him.
Yeah.
Okay, so now he's ripping off of the Wikipedia reference, and now let's see where he goes with it.
Well, Chris Durham Music Channel says you went through it in record time, the Gina video, because she stopped talking. Yeah, that sounds about right.
That's true. Yeah, that's
Hey,
yeah.
just because she stopped talking, and that's the reason we were able to do it, doesn't mean we didn't do it.
Exactly.
Yeah, you have to admit, when she doesn't talk, life is better.
Yes.
It is.
And then we
Okay,
also
now
have
let's find
the
out about our steampunk.
we also have the Kitsune Cavalier who says it says right in the definition, science fiction. Yeah, it
And
does
there's
say
also
that.
an atom punk. As a matter of fact, I was frowned upon for jumping into an atom punk group on Facebook because although my 19th century stuff is using atomic energy, they go, no, excuse me, this is for like the 1950s and 60s. So
Oh,
go
wow.
away.
There is an aesthetic that is expected to go with it. Diesel punk has more of a World War I, World War II vibe,
Mm.
for example. So, like, honestly, the aesthetics matter far more than anything else.
Just like
Interesting.
we all know that in Roman times, when people had ideas, oil lamps would appear above their head.
Right.
Instead of light bulbs, yeah.
Exactly.
Wait, wait,
Scene lamps,
wait, if
you'd
you
have
don't
to
get
light
the-
them, yeah.
Do you get more of a hissing sound from it lighting, or do you still get the ding sound with those? I gotta know that one.
I'm not sure on that. But
And we are totally not trying to stall.
yeah,
No,
well,
no, not at all.
well, let's get started here and see what he's got. This one is a little lengthy, so let's see if we can get through
Ooh,
it.
How lengthy? He asked
Um,
incredulously.
So like, like 5 more minutes than the previous one.
Oh,
I think it's like
okay.
13
So
minutes.
that's like
It's a little
13
longer.
minutes.
Yeah. I was hoping you guys
Okay,
couldn't
well,
math.
Maybe he won't talk much, and that will help us.
Right.
No, sorry. Knowing his videos,
Mm-hmm.
he rambles.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
rambling, rambling.
let's get started and
Just
see what
do
we
me a
got.
favor. Get the picture of the puppy ready, or the puppy ready, so we can give him a nice distraction if it gets
Yeah,
too much.
exactly.
Yeah. Just put a killer bug up.
All right, here we go.
Steampunk was real. And by that I mean there really was a point in the Victorian era where there was all sorts of high-tech gadgetry about. And even just commonplace random people might have all sorts of high-tech gadgetry on them. And I want to keep this video really
drink?
quick because I don't...
Yes.
High tech gadgetry, like what? Pocket watches?
Yeah, they had those. They had fountain pens. They had electrical devices. They had a whole
Laptops.
bunch of things, but But we need, yes, they had laptops, particle accelerators,
Yeah.
flying aircraft carriers. They had all sorts of neat things.
Yeah.
Well, it's,
Sure.
it's
I mean,
probably
would they
like
they
out
get
of
the
Van
stuff from
Helsing,
Atlantis, or-
that
Yeah.
rotating barrel drum crossbow thing.
Mhm.
Like if James Bond only had a wood stove to work with.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
I have seen the picture of somebody who made a calculator device that was inspired by Babbage, and he had it on display at the Centennial Exhibition in Philadelphia. It will be mentioned in the new Paralogs book, and it's about the size of a washing machine. I mean, it's
Ooh.
huge.
Jeez.
It's a neat looking little thing.
Well, let's
Well-
welcome Croc a Squirrel here real quick. Hello, Squirrel.
hi, Croc.
Squirrel.
Hey, how you doing?
Have you been squirreling properly?
Not quite yet. Still working on that part. Sorry, I'm running a little on the late side today.
You're
Yeah,
fine.
Well, you missed some stupid, so count yourself lucky.
True.
I
It
mean,
was
he
pretty
missed our
stupid.
record-breaking time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we went through a video that had absolutely no content in about 8 minutes flat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The most intelligent part was when she didn't speak for 4 minutes.
That was so much nicer.
Oh gosh.
So here's the question: who's stupid are we playing with right for the moment?
Well, we just
Hans
started it. We
Warmhat.
haven't even gotten really into it too much.
Yeah.
Okay.
This person whose name I do not know, but apparently he thinks that steampunk was real.
Yes.
Oh dear.
Oh yes.
And
he-
because
he's
I
saying
am
Victorian
not
times
unfamiliar
had-
with the history of the 19th century and of technology,
Mhm.
I am really looking forward
I-
to seeing what he
I see
Yeah.
how it is.
Sure,
Yeah.
he's about to provide us
He's
with all
saying that
sorts
the
of
Victoria
archaeological
England had-
evidence.
was-
Exactly.
Yeah.
Victoria England had advanced technology going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, Chris is at home today and not at the office.
Yeah, we
Yes.
won't talk about that.
Well, for
Cat.
my
Yeah,
my
there.
drink call, since Squirrel is here, I was gonna say, since I was gonna channel him on that claim for the citation
fucking
needed.
meeting.
Yes.
Exactly. I was like, I'll pass it off to the one who can actually do it. Since
Right.
He's here.
Citation fucking needed. Well,
Exactly. We gotta be proper in here.
Yeah.
Gotta get
Oh.
that-
So I'm going to be
gotta get that
intrigued
right
to see
attitude,
because
that
there
tone.
is
Punch,
the
punch.
steampunk genre draws on such a block of kind
Mhm.
of pastiche science and technology and various characters. Tesla, frankly, dates quite late in the game, sort of drag him in. It's a little bit out of sync. That I'll be curious to see how much he's just riffing off of Wikipedia and how much he's
Right.
even vaguely aware of the actual period and/or steampunk.
Yeah.
Well, steampunk is generally you're looking at the Victorian era.
Yeah, it can slide into the
At
Edwardian
least in terms-
somewhat,
at least in
and
terms
it
of-
has a bunch of, as a form, something that really influenced it comes quite late in the game, which is the Disney version of 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea that has the Nautilus powered by atomic energy. That's not in the book.
Right.
So there's an
nowhere near
awful
the
lot
book.
about
It's
the
powered by
genre that
electricity.
didn't exist previous.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was
Well, the idea
powered by
of
coal.
this
He goes to a coal
wasn't
station and
even a thing.
refuels.
During the Victorian
Yeah.
era, I mean, even like as you said, even Tesla's late to the game.
Mhm.
Yeah, they didn't even understand. In fact, in the Paralogs stories, I have to be very careful about how to describe things because so many of the things they're talking about don't even have names in the 19th century. They can't describe what a neutrino is because they don't
Right.
have a name for it yet.
Yeah.
It is still one of my favorite Jules Verne stories, though.
Yeah.
Oh, 20,000 Leagues?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That-
And although I got to say, the film version's better.
Oh, kind of,
RJ,
yeah.
I'm gonna go
20,000
my
leagues.
friend on you.
Yeah,
What,
yeah.
what people seem to have missed is that 20,000 leagues is a long freaking way.
Right.
Something like
Mhm.
60,000 miles.
Yeah.
Well, it's under the sea. Which is not going 20,000 leagues deep.
Under
It's
the
under
sea.
20,000 leagues going around in a straight line, around
Even
underwater.
then.
That was the
Mm.
name.
It's like 3 times around the world
Yeah, well, he gets around,
at the equator.
Oh
and then
dear.
and then he has And then he has a sequel novel that's actually set earlier, and so there's very great confusion because Jules Verne doesn't really pay much attention to chronology.
I have actually heard it said that Jules Verne didn't know what had no idea what time was in the first place.
Oh.
Odd that he never thought of doing a time machine. That's the really funky thing about it.
Right.
Yeah, that was
Took Wells to do that. Anyway, we're delaying.
Indeed.
I actually enjoyed Wells quite a bit more than Verne, but then I'm one of those Asimov geeks.
Well, Wells is closer to Rod Serling's Twilight Zone. He was a high concept guy who didn't have to bother about whether anything was scientifically plausible or not. He would just think about the consequences. Hey, what if you had a time machine? Hey, what if you had an invisibility formula? Hey, what if you had invading Martians? Blah, blah, blah. Whereas Verne was a popular science techno-geek guy who riffed off of existing science, at least as it was understood. And so from his point of view, Journey to the Center of the Earth is perfectly logical. From our 21st century plate tectonics world, we're going, no.
No, that is not anything that will ever happen.
Right.
It's like when they remade Total Recall, they started passing people through the car, and I'm like, no.
Neither one of them were very good with women characters. There's almost none in any of the stories. Wells, who was quite a ladies' man, and Verne, who was apparently happily married, had kids and all that. Nevertheless, none of them are terribly gushy when it comes to trying to write stories. Verne actually wrote a kind of a love story set aboard the Great Eastern Ocean liner that he sailed to America on in 1867. It's a yawner.
I am not surprised.
Yeah, and both Wells and Verne have one big thing in common. They wrote really crappy dialogue.
Yeah.
Well, back then, I mean,
well,
not everybody.
No, there were people who could do quite good dialogue. Wilkie Collins, the mystery writer, was really quite good at it.
Yeah.
And but it was not a thing that they dealt with well. The closest Wells gets to doing not too bad a dialogue is when he wrote the screenplay for Things to Come in the 1930s. That was the movie he did.
Well,
and then, that's the
you're talking about a movie that was the movie hangs on its dialogue almost always.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't do a Tolstoy in a movie. You really can't.
Yeah, well, Wells did in fact write the script for it, so he toned it down and tightened things up. And generally speaking, remember, Wells didn't do very long stories. Most of them, the longest things he was doing would be classified in the novella level.
Right.
And Jules Verne typically didn't do long novels. They were often very, very short, pithy little pieces, often serialized, which I think is mainly a lot of Verne's difficulties, is the fact that he'd forget where he was in the plot, and so he would just kind of wing it.
Why am I having trouble remembering who that is? God, the one who wrote Tale of Two Cities and
Charles Dickens.
Charles Dickens. That's right. Yeah,
it's the best of memory. It's the worst of memory. Sidney Carton and all the rest. How are we doing on the delaying?
Pretty well.
You have to make one point.
We are doing some gifted foot rating.
I think the buffer memory is full.
Okay, I
completely sideways.
I gotta address something that, since Chris brought up Charles Dickens, I have to make this point. I think Dickens was very accurate on one point, and this video I think will probably show it, or at least anything we watch on this channel will probably show it, is that ignorance will be mankind's undoing.
Yeah, for sure.
Ooh, and somebody else who's not normally associated with science fiction, but actually wrote quite a few, particularly late in life, and that was Mark Twain.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's the figure in Paralogs 4.
Well, let's since we were only 23 seconds into this video.
Oh, okay. You mean there's more of this to watch?
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
let's get to the science.
Let us continue on here.
I think I turned up for the foot to assist in the foot tracking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to see whether or not there's going to be some drink calls from me here, because I better be good.
Will.
All right, here we go.
It's so easy to go off on tangents and look at a million pictures of. Just go look at old pictures of the old world. It's so beautiful. And look at how old things already were in times past and how empty everything was, because it explains everything.
Gerg.
And
Greg,
it has to do with
Yes.
how empty things were. This guy did not see any of the major cities, or has never heard of the conditions in many of the major cities.
London,
Right.
New York.
Between, London, Birmingham, New York, Chicago, all of these places, but from the late 1800s all the way to like the 1940s.
Yeah.
World War I inclusive.
Squirrel. I'm gonna have to correct you on a little bit. Like, as someone who watches his stuff unironically for laughs,
Mm-hmm.
I have a little bit of I give you a little bit of back lore on him.
Oh.
He believes populations are a hoax. He doesn't believe the world is as populated as it is.
Yeah, no
He
platypuses.
believes. He's a flat earther too. He checks all the nutty boxes. Okay.
Oh, jeez. Where the frack is my bingo card?
Cavalier says in there, RJ, there is no science, only Zool.
yes. But here's
And
but
then
here's
your
also
oil
the thing.
never mind.
The
Now,
other things he believes is that he believes that the big cities we see, like the old photos of, like 1800 photos of like the big cities, he believes that they were already there, and that just people came in and took them over and then claimed that to try and make it look populated. And the putting like a half window at the bottom of on like a bottom floor, was not an architectural style back then. That was because a giant flood of mud or whatever.
Oh
came
yeah,
through.
yeah.
It buried
this guy
buildings.
is really weird.
And they just dug out all the old buildings that were already there and then claimed that it's a new city. Yeah,
this is literally.
Has he never seen a building being constructed in modern times?
Probably not.
Probably not. This guy
is
is
literally up
just
my
built
alley.
These things that all of these people just came in and took over. I want to know. I have questions.
I'm gonna say this unironically, and it pains me to say it, but it is true. This guy makes Jeranism seem
reasonable.
Like an Albert Einstein, maybe even smarter.
Yeah.
This guy is
This is up my alley because for paralogs, and for that matter, earlier historical novels and stuff that I'd worked on years ago before half of you here were born, all involved researching the details of history of cities. And so for paralogs, I had to pay attention to what San Francisco was like in December of 1872, not 1906 at the time of the earthquake, not 1850 at the time of the gold rush, to get the maps, to get what buildings were where and all that. The same thing goes for London, New York, Philadelphia, Paris, all the different spots to be able to get it so that it's correct. I don't think this dimwit has any idea about any of that. He could just look at an old picture online and not pay any attention to when it was made and what context is. Sometimes you have to do like detective work in things because I'll see pictures of stuff that's just labeled 19th century, and I'm going, wait a minute, look at that suit that guy's wearing. Look at that dress.
Right.
Oh, this is like 1890s, 1910. You can immediately spot that sometimes they're getting the dates wrong on things. And so it's a delightful detective work. I do not think we are going to get that level of analysis in this video.
I
can already tell you we're not going to get that level of analysis here. Francesca.
Yeah?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but this video is your fault.
Oh, almost all videos except for the crystals on the wheel are my fault. I will fully take full responsibility, and I do not apologize. I have no regrets about this.
Right.
I'm just verifying.
Yes.
I know who to send my therapy bills
to.
Okay.
Well, as horrifying as it may sound, I say, okay, let's continue.
Yeah. I would say if anybody's wondering how bad he is, you know how you can scrape the bottom of the barrel? This guy is about 5 miles under the bottom.
Yeah. All right. Well, we also have Jinzu who says the power of the clams compel you. So, yes, thank you, Jinzu. Yeah, let's see what else we got here.
Yeah,
And
we wanted to get into to show us some pictures.
yes, of course.
Oh, knows.
Resets, which is just another topic that is just so interesting. There's resets in history where they kill off a lot of people and they completely fabricate history again. So this is just such an enormous topic. I want to keep this video quick.
Yes.
Citation fucking needed.
Yeah.
We have the fall of the Roman Empire, which is the reverse of civilization, and we really the Inca and the thing that happened with the Incas and the Aztecs like fucking millions of years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, not literally. I'm being weird here, but I have yet to see a complete societal collapse, complete societal reverse. I mean, I've got a clear overview of all of these fun time periods. Complete civilizational collapse without some sort of at least somewhat verifiable cause.
Yeah.
A great man. You know, the
Somehow
Egyptian.
I doubt we're going to get much archaeology citations from this guy.
Yeah, that's what you're going to need here. Killing a whole bunch of people, that's usually a war of some description.
Mm-hmm.
And remember, we are now in the 21st century, and so I know by direct awareness, we know so much more than we did even like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Well, I'm looking. I'm not seeing it. For example, one of the biggest, most lovely arguments against the flood of Noah, and yes, I'm going to go off on a small tangent here, is the fact that we had at least 3 civilizations at that time that could read
Right.
in different parts of the world. And I'm not counting those in the Middle East. Well, actually, yeah, Egypt.
You got Egypt, you got the Mesopotamians, you got your Chinese, that's
I'm more specifically working at the Egyptians, the Chinese, and at that point with the Inca, it was either the Incans or the Aztecs that had.
Well, back that far back, 2300 BC. No, I don't think there was any written languages operating. Your Olmecs and Mayas and all that, way 1,000 years later. Yeah.
Okay, I could be wrong about that. However,
they were late starters.
They don't even have those folks don't even have a fracking legend of this.
They were around. They were around at the times, building monuments and living in places and stuff, but not with written languages. And there were relatively few written languages in the New World, which is some of the thing. This was not unusual. A lot of cultures were very sophisticated and didn't have written languages, and some have disappeared that we don't know anything about. The Harappa had a written language, but we don't know what the hell to how to read it because
there's so many examples of Harappa.
Yeah, Harappa is down in the Indus Valley in the south of India.
Actually, I think we do actually have something resembling writing samples that old in the Indus Valley.
Oh yeah, they've got it written, but there's very little of it. So little of it that they don't know how to read the damn stuff. It's all cryptic.
We're thinking it was actually some sort of a pre-writing counting system or other similar thing.
As most tended to be. Blame the accountants for creating languages.
Well, duh. You got to figure out who's actually paid their fracking taxes.
And if the floodwaters come in and wash away the markers, you got to have your surveyors and the people keeping records to tell you where the hell your property line is.
Right.
Oh, it actually gets worse because all of these things, just there are no breaks in any of these writing systems.
Yeah.
Okay.
We apologize for this sudden intrusion of actual factual historical information in what otherwise is going to be a pile of shit.
Exactly.
Well, you gotta. You know what? No pile of shit is complete without your little nuggets of golden corn, right?
Yeah. Well, we also have Francesca with the hand up.
Yes, I something I just have to kind of correct RJ and Squirrel on is they're trying to work within the framework of reality and not wacky land.
Right.
And this guy has wacky land. He has a permanent embassy there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh dear. Well, let's continue on and see.
Let's
what
go.
we
I hope he
get.
gets past the damn Wikipedia.
I know,
page. I'd like to
right?
get some facts going. I'd like to have some pictures.
I don't think he owns facts. I don't think he knows what facts are.
Yeah.
No.
All right, here we go.
It's evidence. Step 1, learn what it is. Step 2, get some.
Here we go, guys. Oops. It didn't go.
And go through my pictures and try to explain my idea as quick as I can, but here's my general idea behind steampunk was real. So, I feel like this was a long time ago, where I didn't have as many puzzle pieces put together then. But I said the Victorian era probably stands for being victorious. They like to hide the truth in plain sight. And
Yes.
Drink.
I think Francesca was first on that one.
Victorian era relates to Queen Victoria of England.
Duh.
I don't know the exact dates that she reigned.
1835, roughly 1901.
Okay. More specifically,
we're talking about the Victoria II.
Yeah. All right.
No, I don't think there was a Victoria the First. She was the one and only. It was the only queen.
I could be wrong. I remember that. Yeah, I don't remember if it was one or two.
Two Elizabeths, only one Victoria.
Okay,
yeah,
that's what
she was.
Brain. Okay, my bad.
Yeah. And she was the longest-serving queen
up until Elizabeth II.
Up until Elizabeth II, who just recently passed away.
Yeah.
So they have a whole period named after her because of that fact.
Right.
Yeah, she was around an awful long time. After all of those wacky Hanovers with George the first, second, third, and fourth, and then William the Fourth, who wasn't on the throne very long, and then Victoria and poor little Edward there getting old. He's like 60-something by the time she drops dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you got to think about. Well, you got that. Let's talk about Charles next.
Yeah. He's playing the Edward the
Charles III is going to go down fairly quickly.
So this guy does not know where the Victorian term comes from, and we're supposed to take him seriously on anything.
Yeah, pretty much that's what he thinks.
We haven't taken. I refuse to take this guy seriously at this point. I've had to pull 3 drink calls, and I've only been here 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Actually, I haven't even been here that long.
He's not even a Poe. He truly believes this. I am absolutely 100% sure of that.
Hilarious, isn't it?
Either that, or he's a damn good actor at it. He stepped on my turf with history with that comment. So yeah.
All right. Well,
actually, when did steampunk become a thing?
It was a development that really was taking place in the 70s on, so it's quite a recent phenomenon.
Yeah, I was going to say, and he's saying that's
been within my lifetime.
It got kicked up into high gear with a lot of Japanese anime, the Miyazaki and that bunch over in Japan that plays up on it. So there, we're talking about the 1990s on. There was a certain element about social justice, gender roles, and all of that. So the idea of people in curious corsets and strange costumes and little steampunky machinery and all that sort of stuff. There's a bit of a fashion statement about it that differs markedly from most of the things you would ever have actually seen. An awful lot of the imagery in steampunk really is sort of the weird attitudes people had about stuff around 1910, 15, 20, World War I era, gas masks and all that kind of stuff. So it's a weird amalgam. And again, an influence that played on it was H.G. Wells, who's writing in the late 19th century and into the 20th century, really stopped writing science fiction stories when he got to be a serious historian. And then the Verne matter of where so much of what we think about of Jules Verne isn't Verne, it's the movie versions of Verne. And those are 1950s on.
Interesting.
So this guy is really on a shaky gangplank here.
He's off the gangplank.
He forgot to put water in the pool too.
Yeah.
You see, here's the thing.
And then took a dive.
Was actually hauled away and he's just hanging there in midair like Wile E.
Yeah.
Coyote.
Yeah, who never studied gravity.
I was thinking that exact Bugs Bunny cartoon right there, RJ.
Okay, well, let's find out. Is he ever going to put another picture up?
Indeed.
He generally does. He generally has a lot of pictures he'll use.
RJ,
It's just
if you could go more than 15 seconds without saying something stupid, we might actually get somewhere. And by the way, the Victorian era was actually marked by a great many victories across the freaking planet. She was one of the major builders of the British Empire.
All right.
Squirrel, you're being very generous today. I don't think it can go more than 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Usually.
So am I supposing that I am not going to get a detailed discussion of the impact of Isambard Kingdom Brunel upon transportation policy in the 19th century?
Probably not.
Probably not. I was like, I don't even know half of what you just said. So yeah, no.
He's the guy that built the Great Eastern.
Okay.
All right. Well, let us continue on here. Here we go.
Just be on the nose like that. And they probably were victorious in something. And it's one of those situations where the winner rewrites history. So I believe the Victorian era was a reset time, and I don't know exactly the circumstances.
Because you don't know anything.
Maybe it was a war, and I don't know. But this isn't a video to get into all of that.
No, people wrote like books.
One of the things about
resets
resets
to diaries
is that there's all sorts of huge buildings left around, and they have to quickly scramble to rewrite history, to dig the old buildings out of them. I mean, okay, so I'm not even saying mud floods. Some resets, sure, maybe they have to do that. But anyways, each reset, there's so many buildings around that need to be explained away. And
examples, please.
Inevitably, one part of that thing of going into the old cities and reclaiming the old giant buildings that are still around today, that have lived through many resets. That's one of the things that I personally believe about reset. I don't prescribe to any one theory. One thing that this video is I just want to promote alternative history. Of course, what they tell us is history is a bunch of BS, and everybody should be entitled.
Yes.
I'm sorry. I let him go as long as I could. But again, he's stepping on my turf of history. Alternative history, you mean bullshit. Sorry. That's pretty much all I got for that.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. So
far, there is no there in his discussion.
Yeah. Well, we also have Squirrel with the hand up.
Oh, where do I even start? Yeesh. Dude, citation fucking needed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I want to see him bump into an actual city to see what the hell he thinks he's talking about.
I see, that's just it. I don't know. Who does he think built these cities originally? Somebody built them.
Oh, if I had to guess based on what I'm remembering of everything, all the crazy wackadoodle ideas, they were built by giants. I think he actually thinks they were built by giants, and then when the flood happened and everything, we ended up just trying to, all the people tried to rewrite history, and yeah, that's this guy here. I'm pretty sure he said something like that at one point. So
I just want to know when Euston Station was built.
I don't know. Because we have extensive documentation as to when all of these things were actually constructed.
Right.
Yeah.
There are maps that go back properly, and
I have in my collection. You can find an online website.
A small number of people to completely rebuild all of the maps everywhere for every purpose, on top of writing off all of this history.
Right.
Queen Victoria was around for what, 50-60 years?
Yeah. I even had to pay attention to the fact that that the London dockyards in 1873 aren't the same as the London dockyards in 1876. There's been a lot of construction going on, that a building that was there has been torn down, and they've taken away piers and they've put up new construction here and there. I had to pay a great deal of attention to all those little fiddly bit details, especially in the 19th century when things start really going. I would have to find out what year railroad stations opened up to. Oh my God, that one that I'm looking at here is the 1879 version. That hasn't existed. What was existing in 1876? Ah, that's where that was. Oh, they moved the tracks over here because they expanded because of this line merging with that railroad line, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I don't think this kid has any clue about the stuff that he's about to tread on.
No.
RJ, Squirrel, same issue with you guys as earlier. You're trying to work in the framework of reality.
Of reality, yes. Yes, I know. I'm sorry.
You got to just let reality go and live in wacky
our
land for him.
alternative world that I don't have to have any facts.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, he has alternative facts.
Yeah. Well, so far he hasn't even got to the alternative fact part.
You have to determine whether or not something is a fact. It has to have some form of provenance. And alternative facts are also known as not facts.
Yeah.
Well, let's continue on.
Let's find out if he can get past this damn steampunk image. He hasn't put a damn picture
I
up.
know,
I
right?
see something more than that Wikipedia prompt.
It's actually not even a Wikipedia prompt. That's
the Google search bringing up the Wikipedia prompt.
Yeah. All right, here we go.
Sheesh.
To their own opinions. And when everybody has their own opinions and a bunch of smart people are out there sharing their own opinions and they start aligning on things, that's when you can start to unravel a better idea of what probably happened.
Well, I think there's been a lot of unraveling
all
here.
Shall be revealed in the very end when Jesus comes. Eventually, everybody will know the answer. So.
Yes.
Argumentum ad populum. Just he's appealing to the authority of a mob.
You've heard of Vox Populi? This is Jerk Populi.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, I'm done.
Francesca?
Yeah, pretty much. All I gotta say is he's mentioning smart people coming up with ideas, and I think he's meaning someone like himself.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
But hope's not.
Yeah.
We have no evidence that he can tie his own shoelaces.
That's true. And then
my alternative version of reality is that he can't. He wears slippers.
Chris Kelling.
Yeah. As a Christian, one who believes in God, I disavow any knowledge of this guy.
Yeah.
Or that he has any knowledge of reality.
Yeah.
I think we established that one.
Oh,
just
dear.
want to see a picture of an old city so that I can start looking at it and finding out just how far up his ass his brain is.
Yeah. Well,
you've heard of the Ouroboros? He's doing his best impression of that.
Yeah. I'm getting an image there. It's not a pretty one, but it is clear.
I think the cranial rectal inversion has folded back on itself several times.
Yeah.
He's the Mobius strip of Ouroboroses.
All right. Well, let us continue on.
Okay. On with the video. So, what steampunk was it was right after the reset when they go back into the cities and they start rummaging around through all the old stuff left in the basements and they dust it off and they see if they can get working again. Steampunk is when people literally were just carrying around all sorts of gadgets that they found in the old buildings that were left around after a reset. And since the Victorian era, in my opinion, was one sort of reset. I don't know exact circumstances, but when were the orphan trains? When were I don't know, but resets happen probably pretty frequently.
He's repeating himself.
Recently,
he does that a lot.
So let's get into the other pictures. I think I explained my main theory though. Steampunk was a real time. Steampunk was a real time when the cities were very sparsely populated, and there were so many buildings.
Yes.
his plague doctor actually comes from an earlier period in time,
like 1500s.
Yeah, we're talking and that mask actually has the beak on that mask has a purpose.
Mhm.
Well, yeah, it was hoped to be,
storing
at least.
herbs and shit in so that you can actually so he can stand to be anywhere near people dying of bubonic plague.
Yeah.
Wait, Squirrel,
Okay,
you're
this is not a steampunk avatar. This is from I believe it's actually the second time the Black Death swept through the planet.
Squirrel, are you actually expecting me to get facts and history right? I really hope not.
Yeah.
We have to.
At least he's got a picture now.
Hold it. We have to provide them with the actual facts,
Yeah.
or despite whatever it is our expectation should be. The idea here is to hammer these people with the actual facts.
Right.
True.
Okay,
True.
so we can ditch that particular argument now.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's continue on.
All of the buildings in these cities were already there, and the populations were just so low, and it would have been a crazy time to live. I don't know. The history just looks so ridiculous when you go back.
Yes.
Oh, I was laughing. I was saying, yeah, he's actually right on something because he said that would be a crazy time to live, and it would be.
How about I go get
existed.
Mr. Wells's time machine? I'll send him back there and see what he thinks.
Yeah, exactly. Oh dear. All right, here we go.
You can look at it now if you go and look at the pictures, and there's all sorts of channels out there. I'm not trying to make this video into that. I'm not trying to prove to you that history is false in this video. I just wanted to share the steampunk idea. But anyways, it is wild to think of back when those cities were so sparsely populated. Even today, sometimes it feels like, man, this is a lot of buildings around and not that many people. It would have been wild. So the plague mass is kind of interesting. Maybe some resets are biological warfare or some sort of plague event. It's very possible. But here you go. This is like you know how they got to make it crazy. What the media does is sensationalize thing and then say, look how crazy this is. When in reality, it really is the truth that the Victorian era had way too much technology and that their claims of tech are outlandish. It's kind of an allegory, really. The way that they go over the top with it like this, and they try to make it like in outer space and futuristic, it's almost an allegory for how crazy it is that we're supposed to believe that the Victorian era people really had all this stuff, and also were in like horse and buggy and
Frank.
Oh my gosh.
I think it's
yes, Squirrel.
Find me the individual that's making the claim that they had all of this stuff, and I will find you somebody that's almost as stupid as you are.
I think he's the only one who makes that claim. And
ooh, an airship that's totally fictional.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
By the way, the lifting bag is way too big or small for the thing that, the lift to rate ratio of like helium or hydrogen is quite insufficient to do all of that, but that's because it's just a picture.
It's filled with steam.
Yeah.
Yes, it's filled with a zognaflube, the levity element
Unitonium.
from the planet Zidar.
And why would that ship need oars?
Yeah. Well,
Just
that's part of the weird
would it need
aesthetic.
oars?
It's like putting an atomic power plant in your Roman galley to power the ore.
Yeah. All right. We also had Francesca. You had your hand up.
Yeah, pretty much kind of been pretty much said, but yeah, also just can he please provide this evidence of this claim of the robot arms and stuff, because I'm pretty sure if that existed, yeah, we would know about it. And also, does he not realize that I live in a large city? There's a lot of buildings that I can guarantee there's nobody in those buildings at this point in time because they're offices.
Right.
my whole downtown area is literally Capitol buildings. So, yeah, cities have a lot of buildings because buildings have more than one purpose of just someone living there.
I need to find out whether this guy's house is pre or post mud flood.
Yeah,
he really needs to clear us up on that because he could be part of the conspiracy, you know.
What he failed to notice actually is that the metal was actually attached to the outside of the guy's suit coat. All of this sort of steampunk cyberware attached to the outside of the coat, not the guy's actual freaking arm.
Yeah, you'll see no photographs of anybody in the 19th century that dressed like that.
Well,
this is entirely a fiction that's constructed by the 1970s and 80s. So it's an affectation and it's become a wonderful little genre. But this poor little doofus, I want to see some pictures of cities that I can rip to shreds.
I'm going to take a guess here. And I mean, I've never actually seen this particular movie. And I understand it's like one of the really, really bad movie out there. But I understand it has a lot of kind of steampunky type elements to it from my understanding. But I'm wondering if this guy thinks Wild Wild West with Will Smith. Again,
yeah, it was a documentary.
You're taking my
that movie was absolutely
that really was a terrible
Sorry, did not mean to do
what
that.
the hell happened? Wait. You know, I haven't heard anything from Kate recently. Are you still in there? Hello, Kate.
Wake up, Kate.
I think I think
you're muted, Kate.
Broker.
I think we broke Kate. We can't. Kate, come back.
Now, the original Wild Wild West TV series in the 1960s can be fairly thought of also contributing a little bit to the steampunk genre because they had a lot of technology stuff, implications of like UFOs and time travel and dimensional things and weird costumings and stuff and people that were part machine and part thing. I mean, there was an awful lot of that in the original series. So that was contributing to the aesthetic that fed into the steampunk genre. But none of that's actually 19th century. That's 1960s made up shit. This is the era of Batman.
Yeah, I'm thinking more of the Will Smith movie, though. You know,
that was it had a great cast and cost like $210 million because of all the digital effects. And it just wasted everybody in it. I mean, it was a colossal, dismal mess that was not funny enough to be.
Loveless in a wheelchair.
What kind of world do we live in?
Yeah, and there's
where a flying mouse gets all of my press.
Yeah, and the really funny thing is that was like one of the biggest flops ever, and I don't remember the movie that Will Smith was also offered a part in it. It was like a huge success, and he turned that movie down to do Wild Wild West. And
probably because he liked the idea more.
Well, the producer was known for making very elaborately produced. He helped ruin the Batman franchise and the like. So it was those in the old days, you know, the ancient times. Now everything is done in high definition digital. So, but at any rate, if you have an antiquarian look and want to look into the Wild Wild West movie versus the Wild Wild West TV series, in the same way that the Avengers, not the Thor Avengers Marvel comics, but the old one with Ralph Fiennes and that from the Avengers TV series. But that's another one where the movie wasn't anywhere near as good as the TV series.
I just looked it up because I couldn't remember who it was. He was offered the part of Neo in the Matrix.
Yeah,
that's what it was, and he turned that down for Wild Wild West, which was like the biggest mistake probably of his career. But it's what.
Oh really... no, there was another movie recently that beat Wild Wild West for sock.
Oh, what was it?
His movie came out here recently called Bros. It made $4.8 million opening weekend.
I don't even remember that movie.
Oh well, no. Actually, it was that was the one the gay comedy out there. It's not a huge budget movie, so it's not a terrible shock how many things, and it's a niche market. No, when you're really talking about flops, it's ones that cost a colossal amount of money and will never make back their production cost. I'm quite certain that $5 million or however much they do will not be a problem.
$22 million for Bros, and it makes less than 5. Most movies generally to cut a decent profit, most movies have to make up half of their initial budget.
Yeah, we'll see what happens when they get the DVD sales and stuff too.
Worth the problem.
A movie that flopped at the box office, but kind of got a life of its own and was really not a bad movie, was John Carter. That was a disaster at the box office. And there's quite a lot of films that you look at that you go, oh, they did very badly. And you watch them and they're going, actually, this isn't all that bad a movie. How are we on the stalling front? Are we doing good?
I think we're doing pretty good.
Yeah, okay.
If you check the chat, there's a reason why we're doing it.
Yeah, but that's the other chat.
Oh yeah.
So now I want to know what's with this image here, because I'm not seeing any way you're going to support a gas bag that's like surrounded in metal and greebles.
No, this in fact is very possibly just pure steampunk speculative art. It may not be having any connection to any books, or I don't think.
Honestly, it looks like it came out of Warhammer 40K.
Well, Squirrel.
It does.
Squirrel.
It looks like it came out of the demented mind of a Chaos Space Marine.
It could.
Squirrel. Here's the thing.
So you got a bunch of tropes in some segments of steampunk. You have the pirate motif. So you like to have shipboard fights and people running around with swords and all that aspect. You have a certain element of the Wild West. So you'll have bar fights and stuff that's on the ground, that kind of thing. You always have to have something involving like airships floating around, because that's part of the aesthetic. But beyond that, it's very remarkably incoherent. I mean, they're not really, it's very difficult to invent, as Francesca knows full well, a completely viable world where you're inventing everything out of whole cloth. It's extremely grueling. And I think this poor schmuck is not going to get anywhere near enough, even to the steampunk genre, to have the foggiest idea of what the hell he's talking about.
You're forgetting, RJ, you and Squirrel keep doing this. You want to work in the realm of reality and not alternative reality.
I think you got to limit. I seem to recall putting paid to this particular argument a few minutes ago.
Oh, I know. And it's with him, there's just,
we're on a long-term lease.
Yeah.
Where is her?
And we're also forgetting the most logical explanation of how that plane is flying. Don't you guys ever play D&D? You got a level 20 sorcerer on there using a levitation spell.
Yeah,
there
you go. That simplifies it.
If you're gonna throw
I was thinking those round things on there could have been from the dialects,
Okay, well, anyway. Oh, another factor that would be kind of a cousin, and this is around 1912, 13, 14, 15, right after, and then the end of World War I, is the stuff that's being done by Edgar Rice Burroughs, the Pellucidar series, the John Carter of Mars novels, and all of that. That's part of the embryonic development of stuff that's later on going to get plugged together in the animation departments and stuff in the 1970s and 80s that forms the steampunk this guy is riffing off.
Yeah, well, again, there needs to have some sort of a description here of what he actually thinks this is, not oh well, we have all of these resets and history is written by the winners, and we know history's written.
No, he's just going to be dumping pictures and crap. And you'll notice he several times mentioned this great reset and never told us when. And how does he have a date? Is it like 1825? Is it 1937? Is it like tomorrow afternoon? What exactly is it? When is this reset? Can you be a little bit more specific? Do you ever think any of this through? I don't think so.
I think he could have left it at does he ever think?
That's true.
I think somebody just hit the nail on the head there.
We could jump ahead like 5 minutes and find out if he's gone any farther.
Yeah, we could definitely do that.
I don't think we're gonna last 5 minutes.
Let's see here. Let's look at his next one. We got this lovely picture of the airship. Oh, we've got the guy with the arm
there's
again.
more little steampunky pictures, which no one
Yeah.
ever looked like in that time. Ooh, there's some more fake together pictures.
Ooh, fancy.
Yeah, let's see what that is. Ooh.
Let's see what he's got here. Let me go back to the beginning of this section.
There's some actual buildings. There's some actual buildings.
All right.
The one looks like the Crystal Palace, or possibly the later version of the Alexandra Palace.
I think that's Alexandria.
He says it's also known as the Great Exhibition or the Crystal Palace Exhibition.
That's both of that. There was also Alexandra Palace that was built, figures in Paralogs 3. That was built in the 1870s by the same team that built Royal Albert Hall, by the way. Although it doesn't look anything at all like them. And then it burned down within like 16 days after opening. And then it was rebuilt and revised quite a few times. And I don't think it exists anymore. The park itself still exists, but neither that nor the Crystal Palace exist anymore. They've all disappeared from time. And that's all because of the reset that took place at a time that we won't specify further.
Exactly. Well, let's go ahead and see what else he's got about these.
Palace. Does he think it was like space alien stuff that was
probably.
Space aliens always built out of iron and glass.
Yeah.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. Guys, I'm fading hard. I'm gonna go to bed.
All right. See you later, Bionic Dance.
Recharge.
Have fun.
All right. Well, here we go. Let's
we
continue.
Did kill off Kate.
Yeah. Let's continue on.
So this is not a video to get into the specifics.
Of course not.
There's all
Why
sorts
would
of
we do that?
channels out there that go over this stuff. The stories that they tell us about history make no sense. And this
do actually.
is
You
steampunk.
just are an idiot.
The Great Exhibition is the perfect example of steampunk, where you have outlandish technology going around in the Victorian era. You have these people with the most...
So freeze frame. Stop.
Yes.
Yeah, see, okay, here's the outlandish technology. There is like a fountain, and there is carpeting, and there is a tree, and there is a canopy that is suspended from the ceiling made of cloth. Wow, advanced technology, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is so
Wow.
that is so hyper cool. We could never do that today.
Oh, we can't make hanging canopies and fountains and red carpet today.
Yeah.
That is impossible. Yes. By the way,
I think that might actually be a
which
steel
was the
cable
latest
holding
thing
that up.
in that period. The gas technology was just coming online in a lot of contexts, and in fact, the Great Eastern created its own gas on board as an ocean liner, so that they had gas lighting in the interior. And there was a hotel in New York City that figures in Paralogs 1 that had gas lighting that was generated from the in-house hotel. Wow, advanced technology, space alien stuff, gas lighting. Wow.
Exactly.
Liquid natural gas.
Oh dear. Well, let's see if we can go a little bit further here.
Yeah. Let's see if he can screw up some more history.
Yeah.
Oh, he can.
Yeah.
So let's get to this, like this. So, in my opinion, this
telescopes!
classifies as steampunk because I believe whatever story they tell you, I don't even care. Usually, I just reject it at face value. But my personal
because you're a
opinion is
fool.
that this is something that they dug up, or that they found, or that just was already there. And I think that,
Oh dear. Yes, Squirrel.
Do you have any idea what being buried would do to the optics of a freaking telescope?
I don't think he does.
I can
he don't.
guarantee he does not.
And so
I
they
don't
built
think
a
those
building
what
around it.
lens is or how they operate.
Yeah.
Because if I took the glasses off his face and buried them in my backyard and left them there for I don't know, a day or a couple of days, he'd never be able to see out of them again.
Right.
I want that guy to live long enough so that he will live to a time when somebody just as stupid as he does starts making equally preposterous claims about stuff that he personally experienced and tell him, oh no, you're part of the conspiracy. You can't really have done that.
Right.
That 1979 Toyota Corolla in your driveway is from the space aliens. You just dug it up.
Yeah. He'd probably say, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, he probably would agree with
entirely
it.
possible. Hey, yeah, maybe so. I see. Yeah, there we go.
Oh
Yeah,
dear.
like, I wouldn't put it past them.
I
Yeah.
forget exactly. I'm trying to remember when we got the first of the telescopes. 1608.
Yeah. Galileo era, they were figuring out all that, Huygens and that bunch, and then Newton invented the reflector type, refractor, one of those two, that improved the thing. And of course, by everybody was in a telescoping age. That would be what you're seeing there. Would be a pretty sophisticated instrument to show off the technology of 1851.
Right.
Well, it's actually a fairly
late
good,
19th
that's actually
century.
a fairly good sized beast. But the other side of that, you know, Kepler, he couldn't imagine one of these things, or not Kepler, Brahe couldn't imagine one of those things.
Yeah.
But then he
was living 200 years earlier
with the Mark I eyeball. He didn't have one of those.
Right.
Now, by the time you get down, if you got in the time machine and zipped down to 1890, now vastly larger telescopes are being made, typically stuck on tops of mountains, paid for by extremely rich people that wanted to have their name on the observatory.
Yeah.
That moved on. And then, so you had a whole range of extremely large telescopes that were getting about as big as you could get with the standard ground-based telescope model. And that stayed through until Hubble and stuff is looking around in the 1920s. And then we don't make our next big jump until we start sticking telescopes in space, where we don't have to worry about that, or find ways of electronically connecting telescopes together, which you can do both optically and with electromagnetic radiation. I'm sorry, intruding some of that science.
Okay. So I've got a comment here from the Kitsune Cavalier, and it encapsulates this guy perfectly. He's actually latched onto the old MythBusters meme. I reject your reality and substitute my own.
Yeah,
Legitimately, yeah. That's his world, and boy, there'll be people that will lap it up, but none of them will be smart.
Right.
Yeah.
Francesca, you had your hand up?
Yeah, pretty much just one thing that he said that stuck out to me, where he said that basically anything anyone says that is actually reality and factual, he just rejects at face value because he's an absolute moron.
Right.
Yeah, pretty much that.
Also, let me paraphrase that for you. I reject your reality and substitute my own.
Pretty much.
Well,
it can be safely regarded that although he is probably bumping, I'll tell you, anybody that's looked up a Wikipedia article will see that there are references and things in the bottom that they can go for further reading and find out background information on all the stuff, blah, blah, blah. And I make use of all that kind of stuff all the time. I don't think he ever gets to that stage, precisely because he just skim reads at the front and then says, nope, and then moves on to the next little clip. So he's like a smorgasborder who goes into the cafeteria and decides to eat the chair.
Right. Yeah, sounds about right.
I'm taking a sip of coffee, please.
Oh dear. All right, well, let us continue on.
Yeah, let's see if he gets to the Alexandria Palace. Probably won't.
This point in history is just right at a reset where populations are starting to re-enter the big cities, and then some crazy lady in a robe declares that they're holding a festival, and all ye come around and see these amazing things that I've made.
Frank,
I think that
Yes, Squirrel.
that would be Queen Victoria.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We just actually the idea of it came from her husband, Prince Albert. But Prince Albert in a can. You remember that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, you better let him out.
Yeah. And so there's a whole massive historical record of people, and all the newspapers were covering this at the time, and apparently none of them noticed the fact that they had come into a completely empty cities. Does he have any notion of the sheer volume of faked up stuff that would have to be constructed because
Yeah.
you have newspaper archives of these things going back. You have reports from the Royal Society. You have people writing memoirs. And then once you start having photographs, then you start having people documenting things, all of that. I mean, this little nitwit doesn't realize how he's just skimming along at ass wipe level.
Yeah. Pretty
RJ,
much.
RJ, you're
Keep
forgetting
making that
they're
mistake.
all part of the Illuminati, and it's all a big
Ooh,
cover
yeah.
up.
Well,
And
I'll
only
tell
he
you,
knows
well,
the truth.
I am part of
And
the
Freemasons.
Illuminati because I stick an electric plug up my butt.
Oh,
Metaphorically
dear.
speaking.
Of course, of course. All right. Well, let's keep going.
Yeah, let's see if we can get past the Wikipedia page on this Crystal
But
Palace.
that's the truth of what actually happened. And so that's what steampunk is that you have these simple people walking around in buggies, and
Simple people.
they have these sparse populations, and they have to pass off
Yeah,
all of this
William
tech. So
Thompson,
they're
Lord
just like,
Kelvin, real simple person.
here, check out my
Babbage.
gadgets. So they show them off. It's kind of weird. It's kind of just a
Ooh, the
strange time
Kohinoor.
to think about.
That was recut in the later
So-
1800s by an Amsterdam
I feel like I've mostly
diamond
said
company that's bringing
everything that
book
I want to
free.
say, but I think that these, like this, what it's all about is showing off all of the stuff that they've found. They have to just like show it off.
Does he
and to
realize that
explain it
page
away.
is about diamonds?
I guess because it's either that or destroy it.
No,
so other
he
than
does
destroy it,
not.
they just have to throw a big party and say like, look at it, look at all these cool things that I just built. And
Yeah, they built a bunch
the
of
huge
diamonds.
number
They built a
of
lot of very largest, the
technologies
largest
that
part
just
diamonds
burst out
in
of
the
the
world
scene.
was shown. They were
Really what it
manufactured by
is
little
they're just
diamond makers.
refurbishing old tech. They're finding the old stuff, and they're having to explain it away. Somebody walks up and says, "Whoa, what's that thing?" And you say, "Oh, that's my
Frank,
who you what's it?"
Yes, squirrel.
for anybody that's ever... Whoa, 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 whoa. Sorry, the pup sharpshooter just got walked on by a short person.
No problem.
Anyway, where was I? Oh, right. If you've ever actually bothered to do any research into the rebuilding of a civilization, especially after it's been wiped out, or even recolonizing a town that's been abandoned, you're gonna realize it's not that fucking easy.
Yeah.
Okay, because you have no idea how. Because you would not necessarily have any idea how these things were made, what they were for, etc., etc., etc. If you're trying to show this shit off as bling, it has to come with some sort of an explanation.
Right.
But if you were to walk into, I don't know, a buried city, you know, you and it just happens, and the interior just happens to be intact, you're gonna pick up little objects and go, okay, this looks like kind of that, so maybe it's used for this, and it turns out it happens to be the alien death laser,
Right.
you know, some stupid shit like this. You can't run a reverse. A societal reverse, or even, you know, stumble upon something that nobody's ever seen before, and just pick shit up and go, okay, cool, this looks good, this looks good, this looks good, you know, as for, you know, maybe that was somebody's trash can,
Yeah.
and you're thinking it's barrel armor. You know, it's
Yeah. You can't just pick shit up and turn it on.
yeah, and even if you did, what the hell would you do
Right.
at that point? You're sitting here, you're fiddling with this thing, and all of a sudden it springs to life. Ah!
Yeah. Oh, dear.
And then it hits the ground and scampers off into the far distance.
Yeah.
Because it wants no part of you. You're an idiot.
Yeah. Francesca?
It's the basic. It's just, and we're talking about the basics of archaeology.
Right.
Okay, and some of this can be so completely out of whack. There was one instance I recall, and I think it was actually in one of Martimer's, or no, it was an R and Rod video. He had a friend that was working in an excavation, an actual anthropologist, very nearly missed a child that had been, or or no, it wasn't. It was Cool Hard Logic. Had almost missed an infant that had been buried because he thought it was a freaking post hole. just to get this fixed in the front of the brain.
Right. Francesca, you had your hand up as well?
Yeah, since this page deals with diamonds, I think I found the perfect way to make the world's largest diamond.
Yeah.
It would need to be about a little bit smaller than human head shaped. And what we do is we put that inside his head because he's so full of hot air and it is so dense.
Yeah.
You know, we just take a big giant lump of coal and then we make the world's largest diamond because you get your heat and you get your pressure.
Yeah, something like that.
Yes. That is vastly more probable than the idea that this guy's ever going to understand anything.
Yeah.
Heat and pressure. You can't have hot air and dense at the same points. These things don't actually happen. Air is
This
not
guy's
dense
doing
by
a
definition.
good impression.
Yeah. Well, thanks for ruining my joke.
Oh dear.
Yeah, well, the thing that's amusing about this is how big he is.
You take this human head and you drive a hole down about a mile and a half or so, and then make sure and then fill it with granite.
The funny thing about the guy is how vague he is, because he never tells you when anything happened, even within his own frame. So other than just there was this reset that happened sometime in the past involving some things that I've seen on a Wikipedia page, and that's as far as I'm going on it. But it doesn't crystallize into a this happened, and this happened, and this happened, and so forth and so on. Because the moment he tried to do that, he was discovered that his whole thing is just claptrap. It's utterly untenable.
See, I want to know what these other channels are that he says that go into these things in detail, because his overview is garbage.
My guess, if I had to pick one, first one that comes to mind, Mud Fossil University is probably going to be one that he would probably say that they dive into like the whole ancient cities and that.
Right.
And he's just about as crazy and dense as this guy.
All right. How much time we got left on this, Jess?
We've still got a little bit of time here. It looks like I'm trying to see what the timer says. About 4 minutes.
We're getting anywhere past the Wikipedia page.
We're not past the Wikipedia page.
Yeah.
How long was this video overall?
This one was 13. I forgot you weren't here for that part. Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So
13 minutes longer than it deserved.
I thought it had only just started.
It did. You came in at like 23 seconds.
And we're 9 minutes down, or did we skip a bunch?
We skipped some in the middle.
So we've now discovered that telescopes and diamonds were created and dug up at the time of the Crystal Palace exhibition, occurring at some point after an unspecified big mud flood that buried and then
he also said that these
things
reverses
when stuff occurred.
happen frequently, and again, the historical record doesn't show that at all.
Yeah.
In any way, shape,
but
or form.
then again, where does he
The
get
geological
past all of
record
that?
doesn't show that either, nor does any
Hey,
version
kids,
of the anthropological
all the
record.
little blue things on the Wikipedia are hyperlinks that you can click on to learn stuff that this idiot that's doing the video never thought to do.
Exactly. Well,
Michael Gallagher, the answer to your question is probably about 3 hours.
Yeah. Well, let's continue on and see what else he's got.
Yeah, let's get to those footnotes.
Exactly.
And it becomes just that's the history of it. Oh, I made it in 2 years, and that's how you get these insane inventors. It's where you get the whole mad scientist thing. That's somebody who just found an old chemistry lab. That's the whole idea of a mad scientist.
Oh,
that's somebody who...
Drink. I got to make a comment on that. Notice how he said mad scientist and then rather than give an example of it, changes his own subject.
Yeah.
So he never fills in anything. It's like you had Moby Dick with all the nouns taken out.
Something like that.
Yes, there will be words on a page, but
It looks like English. It looks like English. It kind of almost reads like English. Those are English words, but that is not the English language.
Yeah, exactly. Francesca, you had your hand up?
Yeah, someone could correct me on this if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure the idea of a mad scientist originates originally with Mary Shelley and Dr. Frankenstein.
It most certainly does, and in fact, they're still they are actually the mad scientist is actually still rather rare in fiction, unless you're talking about television.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so with that, I would like to know, I've never read the book, so I could be wrong. Maybe it's in there somewhere, but where Frankenstein just finds an old chemistry set. Does anybody know where that is?
It is not present, actually. Dr. Frankenstein was a physician, and he was more than capable of ordering his own chemicals.
Okay.
And it was involving the newfangled thing, because the 18th century had worked a lot of this out, electricity.
Yeah.
So you can use like the idea that they didn't understand what it was involving, that it could be like the spark of life and so forth and so on. And of course, she was writing a gothic horror tale. She was not really that up on the sciences, although the set she ran in was paying kind of close attention. They were in the Jules Verne mode of, wow, isn't that neat? And they didn't understand a hell of a lot. Now, that kind of fiction becomes much harder to do as you move on in the 19th century, because they were figuring shit out, which this poor schmuck would not know about because he doesn't get past the first page of the Wikipedia article.
Yeah, so I just wanted to make sure that
I wouldn't get past the first page of 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
Oh yeah.
In fact, he'd probably skip out on Moby Dick after the first 3 words.
Yeah. He'd probably be bored by a lot of Jules Verne, because he could get awfully fiddly bit, like describing all the species of fish swimming by the window that Aronnax was describing in 20,000 Leagues. I mean, that would really bore him.
Well, you also have to realize that at the time, you couldn't just say angelfish. You had to describe this thing, because nobody had any idea what one of those might have looked like. It's the same problem that Tolstoy had when he spent, 3 or 4 pages lovingly describing a bench. A park bench.
Well, Verne was also a padder, because he would put stuff in there that he'd obviously researched and found out about as the fiddly bits that he could produce in his story, and he hated to waste it. You know, you might as well stick it in there and get your money's worth out of it. So that was often the case.
How about we move along here?
Yeah. Let's find out where we're getting to the end of the line here.
Yes.
He's going to be getting the science in any minute now.
Here we go.
I propose a 1.5 speed.
Yeah, we could try it. He still might be
because he's not exactly the friskiest of lecturers.
Yeah. Playback.
Maybe that'll make him sound funny.
Well, I don't know. Kent Hovind at 3 times speed is hilarious.
Yeah.
I gotta try that now.
And the less you can understand of Hovind, the better.
Yeah, exactly. All right, here we go.
Somebody who declares themselves to, because after a reset, they start the new society right away. So there will be people that are just I'm a chemistry teacher, so they find the old university building and they go into the basements and they start mixing the random chemicals together. That's probably why they get the tales of...
They're just like sitting around, left over from the pre-disaster.
Anyways, if you have your own ideas after watching this video, tell me in the comments. What do you know? They had a precursor to the fax machine. They just had all of this amazing stuff around. Who knows? Maybe the Eiffel Tower was already
because
there.
they were inventing
the crazy stories that they always say about, they were planning on demolishing the Eiffel Tower too.
Yes.
God.
That precursor to the fax machine was actually a was actually a teletype sort of creature. It's what the hell? It was telegram. Mm-hmm. It was a telegram type beast that could actually print out whatever the hell it was receiving.
Right.
And see, if this idiot's model was correct, why wouldn't he have had a working fax machine right from the get-go? The one that they dug up from the previous society.
See, the sad part of it is you don't understand what you're looking at.
Mm-hmm.
Probably the best you're going to get out of it at any given point in time is blowing yourself to rat shit.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be honestly for a lot of this stuff, it would have been safer to play with foof.
Yeah.
And Matthew Brady was awarded a medal for his daguerreotypes, which was an early version of photography. Why weren't they using full-blown color photographs?
Right.
In other words, this idiot is not realizing what he's seeing is the step-by-step acquisition of new inventions by human beings, not digging crap up from a previous civilization that had been destroyed, but actually inventing stuff. And not one of them looks like anybody from a steampunk novel.
Right.
Yeah, and of course you got the guy saying, well, I'm a chemistry teacher, so I'm going to go do this. If he's a chemistry teacher, he actually knows what those chemicals are. He's not just going to start mixing shit at random because
whereas
he knows the people that shit's going to go boom.
Whereas the people who were actually doing the science, as we know, because there's a written record of all this stuff, were figuring out what elements were, how to isolate things. Oh, I'm going to call this oxygen. Are you sure it's not phlogiston?
Oh, dear. Francesca, you also had your hand up?
Yeah, doesn't this guy know that precursor does not mean it is?
No, he doesn't.
Does he not understand how words work? I mean,
no.
RJ can vouch for me on this. I am absolute crap at the English language. So if I can understand,
but you at least have a good excuse.
I suck at grammar.
This idiot doesn't have any leg to stand on.
I suck at grammar. Yeah, that's pretty much my excuse.
Yeah.
But yeah, pretty much. So if I can understand what it's saying, there's no excuse for him not to.
Right.
Okay, moving on.
Oh dear. Yeah, let's see where else we get
He's a
here.
one-trick pony, and he forgot to bring the pony.
Are they good? So the thing is when you start to research this stuff, you find that construction photos barely ever exist, and if they do exist, they usually look very strange. Like the skies are totally white, or it looks like copy paste jobs. And yes, that technology. I mean, here they had a fax machine, so
citation
they could do
needed.
Photoshop. In fact, I mean, I need to make a whole other video on the photo.
Oh, they did a lot of
technology,
photoshopping
because it
back
existed
in the
then, and it's
19th
still better than
century.
today. I don't think I have the screenshot here, but they already at this point had photography technology that is.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
The reason photos from the 1800s
because it
are
didn't have
rare,
photography.
or even before, even the earlier moments of photos, the reason they're rare is because picture taking was
complicated,
rare,
very difficult to deal with. The ability to build a portable photography system that you could carry around with you, and the plates were made of glass so that they were very breakable. But we do have instances of things where you're actually seeing the construction. I suspect there probably were pictures taken of the early stages of the Crystal Palace, but I know there was all sorts of construction stuff involving the Eiffel Tower, where they can literally see the things going up step by step and all that kind of stuff, because by then it's wow, it's a neat thing, and photography is becoming easier and easier and easier. So this guy is making a bold assertion based upon his complete ignorance of the history of photography, architecture, and everything else. It's all fluff and surface blob.
Yeah.
Well, here's the other side of that. Who wants to take pictures of a building under construction when all the money is in portraits of rich people?
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah,
and you'll want to take a picture of it after it's done. But we have pictures of like the various expositions under construction when they were starting to work on a lot of these things, especially if they took a long time to do, which they often did. The Chicago World's Fair opened a year late.
Yeah, and one other thing on that is I'm sure there's probably pictures where the sky looks white. It ain't from Photoshop. Is due to how the exposure of pictures way back in the day was.
Right.
There were pictures of the construction of the Great Eastern.
Well, you also
as well as
here's
its
the
destruction.
other
all
side
that.
of that. Their photography techniques, things like f-stop and other such annoyances.
Yeah.
ISO for film, you didn't have standards for any of that shit, and the chances of it being overexposed were actually really good.
Yeah.
Yep.
Overexposure was a thing. You had to take the cap off to expose
Another
the
one with
plate and
oodles
then
of
snap
construction
it right back on real quick.
Yeah.
Was the Brooklyn Bridge. My gosh, that one was really well documented because it was taking place in such a big urban setting. And
it was
you
a
can see
big,
the
it was a
early
huge
things where you
public
can
works
start seeing the
project that
towers go
everybody
up,
was
and then you
interested
can,
in.
Yeah.
yeah. And
Okay.
so this, what he's saying is just flat out wrong.
Pretty much.
Actually, I'm gonna go with not even wrong at this point. I don't think this guy's even got a rational thought running around.
Yeah.
Yeah, not even wrong pretty much sums up any
because
Hosmer
if he had
video.
at least, a young Earth creationist will have an actual model. It's an idiotic one, but they can tell you that the flood is taking place in 2348 BCE and mastodons are coming along after the Tower of Babel and all of that. That they can be really, I'm not making this up, that they can be really specific about it. It's insane, but at least it's detailed. This guy doesn't even get to young Earth creationist level of cartoon.
Right.
Just out of curiosity, have you seen MC Toon tear apart a couple of the flat Earth engineers that supposedly have engineering degrees and stuff like that, and they can't even do simple math, much less any kind of calculus.
Right. I know. It's
Well,
crazy.
I think they went to the University of Dunning-Kruger.
Yeah.
Wait,
Yes.
Chris, are you telling me that a flat earther isn't honest?
Never.
I would never say
Shocked
that.
to hear that.
Yeah.
They
My
might
whole
sue me.
life and worldview has just come crumbling and crashing down.
All right. Well, let's continue on here.
Yeah. Let's get out to the end of his ability to not really look into very much of a Wikipedia page.
Pretty much. Here we go.
Passes a digital of today, because just when you use digital obviously has pixel limitations, but if you use real life stuff like they were using, I don't want to get into the mechanics of it, but the resolution.
Of course not, because you don't know anything.
Digital stuff of today. Anyways, see, I'm rambling. Look how old this already looks. It already looks ancient because it is. It's so extravagant.
Black and white.
Another topic I want to get into. I'm just saying this so that
That's
I remember.
probably a
Look up
really
the canal.
early photograph.
I forget what it's called. Is it the Canal Era of America? It's so ludicrous to think that one of the very first things that they do when they come to the Americas is start building these enormous canals. That's the type of stuff in any society does. That's not the very first thing you do when you come to a place. Let me build these massive canals.
One of the earliest photographs
Right.
of Paris is one where I think there's only one person visible, somebody that stood still just long enough that they actually showed up in the exposure. So you would think, what, Paris streets are empty in this? No, they're just, everyone's moving around too fast for the damned exposure of these early things. And so clouds would be going along in the sky that would blur up the sky because it's a mesh of stuff. This dumpster fire of a brain doesn't understand any of that.
Yeah. Oh dear. Francesca?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he just said this, but he basically said that the Panama Canal cannot have been built and it had to have already been there.
Oh God!
I'm pretty sure that's what it sounded like.
Oh, we should back up to hear that. I was going on. If he said that's perfect if he did.
Like 10 seconds.
There's
I'm
another
almost sure
thing that
that's
is
what he
so
said.
ridiculously documented. We've got pictures of every stage of construction, including going back into the Delessa period.
Can we go back to about
No, hold on, squirrel. We'll get there. I'm just going through the
Panama Canal.
Yeah. Let me see here. All right. So
the Panama Canal.
Yeah, I was just going through
Which
the
figures,
chat.
by the way, it's alluded to in Paralogs 2.
Yeah, somebody in the live chat, Michael Gallagher, said, if it had already been there, who built it? I don't think we'll ever get that answer, because I think that's one that, everybody would love to know.
It's a mystery of the universe.
Yeah.
Like, why is 42?
Exactly. All right, let's see.
Somebody needs to provide me a link to this guy's channel.
I got it. I'll get it to you. I'll put it in the side
You're a
chat.
masochist there.
All right. So let's go on and see what else we got. Well, I went back a little so we could see about what he said there.
Old this already looks. It already looks ancient because it is, and it's so extravagant. Another topic I want to get into. I'm just saying this so that I remember. Look up the canal. I forget what it's called. Is it the Canal Era of America? It's so ludicrous to think that one of the very first things that they do when they come to the Americas is start building these enormous canals. Like that. That's the type of stuff.
Oh, I think he's
society
thinking
does.
of the Erie Canal.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Also, about which we have a detailed history of its construction.
Mhm.
That's pre-photography, so that's why there aren't any photographs of the Erie Canal.
when Europeans came to the what most people call the Americas, we and I'm not even counting the Vikings who were here well before everyone else, pretty much. But it's just like even the around the time frame of this, we did a lot. We didn't even think about canals at that point.
No,
Like-
because the Erie Canal was built by the United States.
I know, and I'm like,
that was.
The British also built quite a lot of canals in the same period. It was inexpensive. If you could figure out the hydrology, which meant that you had to have a science understanding of how to deal with it, plus it was an engineering feat considerably. And then that era got completely sidetracked when those choo-choo railroad trains came along just shortly thereafter, which got into a completely new economic boom about which poor scientific and historical illiterate lecturer doesn't know diddly about.
Right.
yeah. So yeah, like he just tried to say that. So I did not mishear him. He literally tried to say that the canals were already there, and we just claim credit.
And
for
by the
them.
way, the Erie Canal has only one architecturally complex thing. It's the lock system that needed to raise the water up to another level to get it into the lake that they were going into.
Right.
Everything else was just digging a trench that it was running at relatively low levels. Oh, nobody knows, unless they have advanced technology, how to dig a hole. Ye gods, Nero was working on a canal in the early stage that never quite got finished at the time where the current Suez Canal is.
Right.
And this the Corinth Canal, that was another one that was constructed in ancient times. But none of these things involve locks, mechanical locks. And the great innovation, of course, of the Panama Canal was that they figured out how to make it self-powering by making use of an artificial lake that they generated. That means that it's powered by water power, and they can fill the locks up without requiring any power usage.
Right.
It's a brilliant piece of engineering.
Well, yeah, I
Which
mean,
we
the Erie
appreciate.
Canal was done by, and still is, done by a gravity-fed
Yeah.
system. I like going over to let's see, I think it's Lock 14 over in Amsterdam, New York, and because they got a nice little picnic area where you can watch the boats go through the locks, and then there's railroad tracks right over there, so you can watch the trains go by at the same time, and it's pretty cool, pretty nice little.
And another one that pops in the 1870s and 80s is the giant Manchester Canal that was of anything on the same scale as building the Panama Canal, except didn't have to worry about malaria. But my gosh, it was a gigantic undertaking, and it still
Right.
exists and operates.
All right. Well,
Sorry
let's
for intruding
continue
some
on.
actual history into
I know,
this.
right? How terrible.
I'm sorry.
All right, here we
No,
go.
I'm not.
Very first thing you do when you come to a place, let me build these massive canals. No, that's the stuff that you build after a population already exists. Anyways, I'm getting distracted. Another thing.
Ooh,
Here's just another
chairs!
big one. This is a bunch of BS.
It's dinner, isn't it, RJ?
Yeah. Hold still during the long exposure time required to make a dicterarchite put. This
Yeah.
is not bullshit. It's a fact.
Yes.
Right.
They had multiple different photography technologies back in the day. Some of them probably did need very long
No,
exposures.
they didn't.
But
to
what they'll tell
begin
you it
with.
took 20 minutes to take a
Again,
photograph
you're
back in the day, which is not
ignorant.
true. Not true at all. They did have quicker photography technologies. And what this is, look at what they're trying to pass this off as. To hold head still during long exposure time. No, and this has been exposed. It's been exposed that what they actually were doing was
Exposed
posing dead
by
bodies.
whom?
They had all
Right.
sorts of chairs and things to pose up
No.
a dead body. And do you know
Where
what
is
that was
this
all about?
expose?
They had
By
such
the
low
clams.
Yeah,
populations.
this is this pure delicious
Oh.
example of somebody. This is flat Earth level dumb.
Yes.
Mind
Yes.
you, he could have the whole idea of holding up a corpse like that. That chair could be used for this purpose.
Right.
However,
Yeah,
if you're
any
trying to
old
take
chair
pictures
will
of-
do because corpses don't move much.
Yeah, but you got to support the head or just go flop
That's
over.
true. Well, if you lay them on and build the set on an
this
angle,
is-
how about
this is-
that? Yeah.
But it's again, try and take a picture of a small child, even
Yeah.
with today's technology. You're not good. It's gonna be hard.
I think this guy has a smattering of stuff that he's seen on like Wikipedia and
Right.
YouTube's and internet stuff, and he's then put it into what is the equivalent of a Cuisinart shredder in his head.
Yeah.
And it pulverizes everything, and this kind of silly putty goo leaks out of his orifices, and what's left over is what we see as videos.
Right.
I think we already bored Kate to death. So can we?
Yeah.
Let's try not to get there.
Francesca, you still had your hand up?
Well, yes. If her headache wasn't worse before she came in, it would get better. It wouldn't get better from this.
Pretty
Right,
much
so
Squirrel said it already. Just the whole.
Let's do the honor of moving.
Yes, we will.
Yeah, pretty much what Squirrel said. Just the idiocy idea of it being used for corpses as just being. That's just absolute asinine and wrong.
Yeah.
That's not.
And you
even-
notice he doesn't even try to offer sources. I mean, theoretically, this jerk could put in links to all of that kind of stuff, but and indications of it. But no, it's all a shell game of promissory notes for actual documentation and never actually delivering because he's a lazy effort.
Right. Pretty much.
Okay. RJ, we love you. We love that you have a whole bunch of stuff to say, but maybe a little more. Maybe try to make it a tad more.
That's all right. We're almost there, so it's not too bad. Let's go ahead and continue on.
That time they had to fabricate enormous amounts of people, and they had to explain away the inventors of this tech. So part of what they would do, so there were people that literally their job was to just pose up a dead body. They would get some poor guy who just died and put him in a wig and pose him in a chair, take a photograph. Oh, here's the architect, whoever who built that building over there. It was multiple people's full-time job to pose dead bodies and pretend that they're living people and write their backstories as an architect who built that. They were scrambling. That is how they do resets. It's all done with a pen and making crap up, enormous amounts of crap to cover up. They have to explain away just enormous amounts of stuff that is laying around. I've explained enough. That's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. God bless everyone.
But it allows you to do this
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well.
Okay. All I heard was reach.
Yeah.
And a jump for conclusion.
Pretty much. That was pretty painful. But at least the good news is, at least we don't have to watch that one next week.
Glad to hear it.
Exactly. I'm deleting it now so I don't accidentally put it back on the wheel.
Yes, please.
Never again.
Exactly.
We had a low drink tone on that, but
yeah. I have one message for Squirrel. Any therapy bills that are sent my way will be put return to sender.
Yeah, exactly.
Return to sender. Brain pan unknown.
But again, I do not feel sorry for anything I submitted.
Right.
Yeah, you're shameless.
Oh dear. Well, everybody,
so.
I think we are going to wrap it up here for the evening. And I do want to thank you all for coming out. I appreciate all of you in the live chat and on the panel. So thank you all, and we will see you all back here next week. Yes, next week. I had to think about what day it was and everything. And then hopefully we'll have some more stupid on the wheel. I'm sure we'll have plenty.
Because they keep generating it.
Yeah. So with that,
I did actually send you a video to clip.
Yes, I believe you did. I haven't checked. I just haven't been in Discord too often.
So Jess, what I'm hearing is make sure we have wheel fodder so scour his channel.
Pretty much, yeah, something like that. All right.
Don't do that.
Well, everybody, we are going to wrap it up, so thank you again. And with that, say goodnight, panel.
Good night, panel.
Good night, panel.
Don't accept.